Hello, my name is Stephen Upton and welcome to my YouTube channel. Fort Pompelle was built between 1880 and 1883, shortly after the Franco-Prussian War. The fort is located to the east of Reims, beside the D944 road. It's a relatively small rectangular fort and is surrounded by a ditch defended by two levels of defensive structures. The fort covers an area of 2.31 hectares, or 5.7 acres, and was provided with six 155mm guns, four 138mm guns, and a variety of lesser pieces. An artillery company of 277 men garrisoned the fort. In 1917-18, a number of underground passages were cut from the chalk to provide access points a few hundred metres to the rear of the fort. The fort was disarmed in 1913, immediately prior to the First World War, and during the offensives of 1914, the fort was briefly taken by German forces, being occupied on the 4th of September. However, following the First Battle of the Marne, it was reoccupied by the French of the 138th Infantry Regiment on the 24th of September 1914, therefore being occupied for only 20 days. The fort then became a principal part in the defence of the Reims sector. In the remainder of the war, the fort was assaulted and bombarded many times by the Germans, but never changed hands again. A total of 180 different regiments, including two special Russian brigades, would defend the fort throughout the war. The fort saw particularly strong assaults in the spring of 1918 during the Second Battle of the Marne, when it was assaulted 3 times. On the 1st of June with 15 tanks. Each assault was repelled by elements of the 1st Colonial Infantry Corps. Except for those 20 days in 1914, and despite repeated attempts by the German army, the fort remained in French hands throughout the war. The fort is open to the public, and inside is a very interesting museum. Unfortunately, on this particular visit, I was too early in the day and was unable to film inside, but it's certainly worth a visit if ever you're in that area. In the 1920s, shortly after the war, a number of stone markers called Born-Verviers demarcation markers were erected right across the Western Front. They stand about 4 foot tall. Today, there's still over 100 of these in situ, and they mark the point of the Germans' furthest advance during their 1918 offensives. The red arrow shows you the location of one of these markers and gives you a good idea as to how close the Germans got to the fort in 1918. I'm going to leave you now with a piece of music, and I'll talk to you again at the end of the film. I hope you found this film interesting, and if you'd like to learn more about the First World War, then please consider looking at my other films on YouTube. Maybe it'll even encourage you to want to visit the old First World War battlefields. Thank you very much for watching.